For my inaugural examination of the common sense approach to today's headlines, I bring to you a collection of 92 of the most malformed chromosomes on the planet. I didn't have to look far to find them either. They were easily located under the headline, "Parents Arrested After Girl's Burns Go Untreated," and belong to Frederick and Sharon Wessel of Indianapolis. Now, I'm all for the rule of law. I'm currently in classes pursuing a law degree, and in this country we profess to live by the rule of innocent until proven guilty. So let's first address that. You have a child in your home who is screaming in pain from burns sustained when her clothing caught fire. A neighbor is calling for help. You're not. She is not still on fire. She has burns that are not being properly treated, and they were inflicted 11 days earlier. That's neglect and abuse. Guilty. Now let's move on. So how does this happen? First thing we do is go back about 12 years ago. The top rated show was ER, how ironic. The top pop group was Spice Girls. And Bill Clinton was just finishing up giving 2 years of classes in the Oval Office to Monica Lewinsky on how to... Well, what these two parents should have been doing instead. Even a scary thought as that is. So we've all heard beauty is more than skin deep, and it sure as hell is in the eye of the beholder, because looking at these two, I can't imagine it was much better 12 years ago. But for whatever reason, and however it happened, Heather, their daughter, was the love child of these two winners. Now, I don't have all the answers. Sometimes I just have to jump out on a limb and make an educated guess. When I see a guy who's had a tracheotomy at age 48, I'm guessing it doesn't come from choking on a walnut. More likely, it was from smoking cigarettes. So let's see. I have $5. Do I buy a grooming kit, cigarettes, or heat for the day? Common sense says start with heat. But we know that wasn't done. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to look at this dude and figure out it wasn't a grooming kid either. Okay, it is not a crime to heat your home using space heaters. I just think given the choice between luxuries like cigarettes and tracheotomies or a heating system, that the heating system should come first. Especially when you have 2 children in the home. But common sense was obviously a cabin mate to good looks on the cruise ship out of these people's lives. And I don't want to just beat up on this dude either. There's still the mother of the year here to look at. Well, maybe just glance at, because looking at her too long could turn... Well, anyway, I know that a sociologist told me once something about women selecting their mates based upon certain qualities that would lead to reproductive fruition, having lots of babies. Well, this genius must have had quite a selection process. Let's examine, what does she look for in a man? Must be convicted of child molesting, have no front teeth, talk like a character on a South Park episode when they're out camping, and have no firefighting skills. Ah, hell, it was probably just something simple as the first guy who didn't say, "Beat it, you ugly wench." So here we are about to ring in the new year, all huddled around the kerosene heater like a bunch of marshmallows over a campfire, when the trigger to the first of a tragic series of events takes place. Their daughter's nightgown catches on fire. Now, I wasn't there, I don't have the details, but the result is that she suffered 2nd and 3rd degree burns on her legs. Now, I've never had a child's clothes catch on fire around me, but 3rd degree burns? What went on there? Just, don't put her out, that's warm? Okay, stop, drop, and roll, water, fire extinguisher, something, right? Common sense, next step, call 911. Well, not for these two. It was a butter or hand lotion, whatever it was. The parents have said that they feared that if they took her to the hospital, CPS would be notified and the children would be removed from the home. I've got something to say about that too. But first, what does common sense tell you is more neglectful? Not providing appropriate heating system, or not treating your child for 3rd degree burns? Oh, gee, there's a tough call. Come on. Now, I've worked in child advocacy for years, and I can tell you that the fear of CPS is real. It is not a crime to be poor. I've seen poor people who spend quality time with their children, who provide, may not be able to maintain what most people would consider the appropriate standard of living. But I can guarantee some of these children were better off in that situation than being removed from the home. And to those people who make up some suspected neglect, just so they can take children out of the home and the state can receive more federal funds. They should be ashamed of themselves. When I was going through a divorce, my child and a friend of his went over to the neighbor's house. It was across the field. I told they reached about age 5 at the time. I told them when they get over there, give me a phone call, let me know they got there. I watched out the window and I saw as they got into the neighbor's yard. 5 minutes later, no phone call. So I call over there, get no answer. So I go looking for them. As I get over there, I could see that the neighbors weren't home. So I looked up and down the highway, I looked around at the abandoned house and the well pit. Still, no children. Not my son, not the other boy that I'm responsible for. So at this point, panic is setting in. Now, I seriously needed help, but I wasn't about to call the sheriff. Because I know that if my ex-wife, found out about it, then her lawyer would use that against me to try to take custody away. There was no problem though. The boys had found a seldom used door that was on the attached garage, and it was unlocked. They went in there, went in the house, and they were playing. Eventually they heard me outside screaming for them, so there was no need for assistance. If, however, my son had fallen into the well pit, I certainly wouldn't have simply spent 11 days trying to get him out on my own. That's when you say, my bad, and you call for help. But it's not enough for these two waste of space that their daughter is in such pain that her screaming alerts a neighbor. I would really like to know what thought processes are going on in their minds that convinces them that to allow their child suffering like that to just go on. Is it, oh, this is God's will, or it's only a flesh wound? Her skin is peeling off her body. It has been burnt. Suntan lotion doesn't treat this. She needs hospitalization. The only thing I can find worth giving these people some credit for is that they didn't kill her because her crying and screaming interrupted their television viewing. I have 2 words for this woman: tubal ligation. And as for that man, the chomo, here's an idea: just put a cork in it. Thanks for tuning in and checking back tomorrow. I'm sure I'll find some stupid act to give you the lowdown on then. I don't know why it's called common sense when it seems so difficult to find.